I'm a teacher on summer vacation, so the last thing I want to do is think about work. But when Bloom Daily Planners reached out to me and asked if I would consider taking a look at their teacher planners, I'm a stationery lover first, so yeah, I will, absolutely. I'm really curious how Bloom Daily Planners decided to lay out their teacher planner because every teacher needs something slightly different. I know I do. I'm a middle school teacher. I teach math. My day looks drastically different than, say, an elementary school teacher. And so I'm interested to see what they think is necessary for a teacher planner. So in the box are two planners. We'll talk about what they are and kind of the differences between those in just a second. But it comes with this cute little quote card, and then it has a bigger card. It says believe in yourself, and it has some facts about Bloom, the company itself. And then it comes with this cute free sticker sheet. So the first planner in the box is called Vision Planner. It's a 7.5 by 9-inch planner. This is the academic year, and it's in the colorway Garden Party. The second planner is the teacher planner. This is their undated teacher planner with interchangeable covers in the colorway Neutral. The size is 9 inches by 11 inches. And obviously I want to start with the teacher planner first, so let's go into the details. So the teacher planner is, like I said, undated, but at the time of this recording, they have now released the dated version of this same planner for the academic year 2024-2025. And I appreciate that they have both options there for dated or undated. Personally, I would go for the dated for my work planner because I don't want the hassle of having to date it myself. And I know, of course, it's going to run through the entire school year, but I still like that they give you that option for that. So the cover of this planner is like a hard plastic. It's not hardcover, but it is durable. And it has these 3 interchangeable covers inside. Again, this is the Neutral colorway. So the first cover it has is this like abstract one that says inspire, empower, and teach. And then it has this blue striped one that's very pretty. I like that the design continues to the back. And then the last one that it comes with are these dark geode, very pretty colors on this one. And it just says teacher planner. They slip right into the cover. So then you could potentially customize your own cover. And if you don't like any of those options, they actually have free printable downloads for additional cover options on their website. So let's take a look inside. So this first page is just kind of like an intro page, a little note from Bloom, and then a place for your information, and then a place for you to identify a mission statement for this year. I like that these tabs are nice laminated plastic. The next page is a note from Bloom, the company, and then a interesting page called Info for the Substitute. So while there was really good information on here, like your schedule, notes, absences, classroom behavior, things that are pretty typical for a substitute, I thought it was kind of strange because it's not like I leave my lesson planner when I'm out. However, how cool is this to photocopy, to leave for a substitute and just have this template at the ready for you? So actually, I think it's a really cool option for a page. After that is a spread for student information, pretty classic, student name, contact info, notes about that student, and then we go into a communication log. I really enjoy a communication log in my lesson planner. Obviously, they got feedback from real teachers because you know this is so handy. Really good for keeping track of contacting families. After that is a page for website logins. You know there's like a million passwords every year, so very handy there. And then we come into this page for field trip information. It has space for 3 different field trips with things like location, website, notes, all the things you would need for a field trip. And then you have 2 blank grid pages. So then we go right into the gradebook pages. Pretty classic layout. It has 31 spots along the side and 34 along the top. You could easily do student names on the side and assignment name on the top, or vice versa. You could do student names along the top and assignments along the side. There are 8 identical gradebook pages. So plenty of room to record assignments, even like one per day you could do. I've also seen teachers use these pages for attendance, so that could be really handy. Lots of space for whatever you need. After this is an important dates and birthdays spread. I love the way this is laid out. I love that each month has its own separate box and a lot of holidays are already filled in for you. This is a great spot to put in monthly meetings or student birthdays. I love that. It's really well done. Okay, so now we're getting into the months part of the planner. This is an academic planner, so the very first month that you're going to see here is August. Every month is set up the same exact way. It has a little tab divider, and it has this page at the front where you can identify a focus for the month and some goals for the month. It has this quote dashboard before it takes you into this big spacious calendar. Like I said, this is the undated version, so obviously the dates are blank right now, but again, the dated version is available. I love that these boxes are blank because kind of everybody has their own way of organizing their calendar layout. I love that the weekends are shaded a different color because, of course, this is a teacher planner, so we don't work weekends, not traditionally. So you want them available for you to write in some things, but you want it to be blocked off. It has a section on the side for notes and a little motivational quote at the top. So after the monthly calendar, it takes you right into the weekly spreads. Every weekly has the same layout. It looks the exact same. So it has the days at the top, Monday through Friday, and then vertical boxes all the way down. And then on the left-hand side, it has 7 spots for different categories, however you want to use that. Obviously for teachers, it's kind of like 1 spot per class or 1 spot per course or whatever it is that you teach. I think my favorite thing about the way this is laid out is that it has these lines, and not only is that easy on the eyes, but also they match up perfectly with those sections on the side. So you could use it as one long box, or you could very naturally split up Monday into those 7 sections without having to draw any extra lines. And I really love that detail. I don't know if they intended on doing that or not, but it's really great. For the spaces along the side, there are 7 spots. So for a middle school teacher like me, I might break my day up into the 7 periods of our daily schedule, or you could split it up into the types of courses that you teach for your blocks. If you're a high school teacher, different levels that you teach. If you're an elementary school teacher, different times of your day, however you want to do that. And then you get 5 of these identical weekly spreads. So just in case a month has 5 weeks in it. After the weekly spreads is the August review. I assume this is a place where you can reflect on how August went, and then it goes right into the next month. So once again, it has space for focus, space for goals, a quote dashboard with a tab divider, and then the calendar layout. It has the same exact layout with those different colored weekends, space for notes on the side, and then a motivational quote at the top. And then again, those identical weekly spreads. I'll go through each month so you can see what the dashboard looks like, what colors they chose, and that way you can kind of get a sense of what the rest of the planner looks like. But the structure is all the same. Since this is an academic planner, the last month is July. has that same end of month reflection page, and then the last page of the entire planner is called Year in Review. It has spaces for most memorable moments, small and large victories, goals I reached, new skills, techniques I learned, mistakes that I learned from, and biggest takeaways from the year. So, nice spot for some end of year reflection. Then you have this pocket folder in the back, and then of course the planner ends with the same plastic cover from the front. Now that we've gone through all the pages of the planner itself, here are my thoughts. I think this is super well thought out. I think all the spreads that they put at the beginning of this planner quite obviously came from teacher feedback. And some of the spreads even surprised me, like the info for the substitute spread. This note from Bloom, I wish wasn't in here. I think the card that they put into the package is sufficient and lovely, and I just don't see a need for this extra page in there from them. The student information page is pretty classic and very easy. I could use it, but I'll be honest, I tend to keep that information digitally, and so I don't see myself using this spread at all. I love the communication log, no notes there. And then finally, this field trip information page. I am just curious if anybody actually needs this. I would love to hear feedback from maybe elementary school teachers. Do you need something like that? As far as the gradebook pages go, I do think a lot of us keep these things digitally now, but I still think the analog pages are a necessity, just in case. The rest of the planner, I think, is super well done. Obviously, these are the pages that are going to get used the most. And so I love that the style is minimal, but there are some details in there that make it aesthetically pleasing. Like, I love the color palette they chose. I love details like that. So super well done. The one thing I will say is that the weekly spreads are a vertical planner style. So if you are somebody who prefers a horizontal planner style, then this is not really going to work for you, I don't think, because the days are already listed at the top. And so that kind of restricts the use of these pages. Let's talk about the paper. According to Bloom's website, the pages in here are 100 GSM bright white paper. If you know about paper at all, you know that 100 GSM is going to hold up to pens and markers pretty well. The texture of the paper is a little toothy for my taste, but I am curious to do a pen test on this paper, and so I think I will do that next. I'd like to try out gel pens, markers, highlighters on this just to kind of see what it'll hold up to, because I think that's really important with a planner. So I'm going to do a pen test on the grid pages that are provided in the planner, and I had some gel pens and markers and highlighters that I had lying around my office, and I wanted to see not only like how each pen feels on the paper, because that's really important to me, but also how that paper holds up. You don't want to be somebody who relies on color coding and highlighting, and then you realize that the paper that you have spent money on can't withstand that material. So I'm going in here with some of the gel pens I had. I have two from Uniball, the Uniball 1 gel pen and the Uniball Signo gel pen. If you notice, both of those are size 0.38 millimeters, which is pretty teeny tiny of a point. I wanted to see if that felt scratchy at all while I was writing, and I'm happy to report that it's pretty good, especially the Uniball Signo. That one feels really good on this paper. And then I had the Pentel Energel. That's very classic, and I wanted just like a fat gel pen, 0.7 tip, and that one worked really well. And then I even took out this Sakura Pigma Micron Fineliner because those tend to drag on all paper, and this performed pretty well on this paper. So after that, I'm taking out some highlighters or some highlighter options. Obviously, I had to test out the Zebra Mild Liner. That is a classic highlighter and nothing to report there. Performed really well. And then I even tried a Tombow Dual Brush Pen because I know a lot of people like to use them as highlighters as well. And so even though this is a brush tip marker, which can fray on rougher papers. It did pretty well. I would be curious about long-term use to see if the Tombow brush pen tip is gonna fray. After that, I busted out the big guy, the Sharpie permanent marker, and as you know, it bleeds through everything. Spoiler, it bled here too. But I wanted this baseline. I wanted to see kind of what this paper could withstand. And as you can see on the other side, even though the Sharpie permanent marker bled through, the other ones did great. So just don't use Sharpie in your planner, that's all. So that was an extensive look at Bloom's dedicated teacher planner. I want to talk about a different option here. This is called the Vision Planner. It is a hardcover. I love this hardcover, and I love that they reinforced the corners with these gold little metal pieces. And it is still an academic year, so even though it's not going to have some of those teacher dedicated spreads, I still think it's a really good option if you're a teacher and you don't typically need all those extra spreads in there. So pretty similar to the teacher planner, it has this intro page, a place for your information, a place for you to set a personal mission for the year, and then a word for the year. After that is the same kind of letter from Bloom. You know how I feel about that. I kind of wish they skipped that. And then it has this page where you can write a letter to yourself. The prompt at the top indicates that you should write a letter to yourself when you're having a really good day. And that way, if you're having a bad day, you can come back to this page and read that letter to yourself as like motivation. I don't know if I would use that, but it's a cute idea. It then goes into this year at a glance or 2 years at a glance. Again, this is an academic planner, so 2024 and 2025. After that are a bunch of spreads that are intended to be used for sort of like personal growth, mindfulness, things like that. This first page has a spot for you to identify different areas of your life, how they're going, how you would like for them to go. So things like personal growth, relationships, health and fitness, family and home, work and school, finances, fun and adventure, and then it even has 2 spots for you to figure out different categories that are custom to you. Has this space for things not to do, which functions as kind of like an anti-to-do list. They give examples like, don't worry about others' responsibilities, don't worry about things that you can't control, worry about things that drain you, things like that. So pretty cute there. After that is a little spot for you to name your personal values. And then at the bottom, I always love this practice of identifying things that you need more of this year and things that you need less of this year. So that's a pretty good option for some reflection. This next spread was a surprise to me in a good way. I did not realize that Bloom was like a really socially conscious company. They do a lot of outreach with the larger community, and this whole spread is a team up with Random Acts of Kindness Foundation, and each month they have picked some challenges to do a random act of kindness, 2 per month. Things like writing an online review, a positive online review for a business you love. Things like inviting a new friend or colleague for coffee and tea. Things like showing appreciation to a service worker. So that's pretty cool. I love the idea of doing 2 random acts of kindness per month. On the other side, there are 3 sections. My joy list, I love myself because, and I feel best when. So little spaces to fill out for some self-identification. And then after that, we get into a little bit of like vision board ask style spreads, places for you to plan your year. So places for goals, bucket list, gratitude, and then I like that they have this blank page on the side for a vision board and a website at the bottom for inspiration if you're unsure about how to fill it out. After that are some structured spreads. This is called the My Ideal Week, where you can identify what your morning, evening, and weekend routines look like and what your ideal days would look like. And then I love this one for scheduling. This one I think would be the most useful for teachers that don't want to use the traditional teacher planner. So even though it has Saturday and Sunday, I really like that this has that structured layout for you to put your class schedule in and stay organized in that way. These next two, I don't think would be helpful for a teacher, but maybe. I mean, we buy things all the time that we need for our classrooms. And so keeping a monthly spending log, or this could be like a personal spending log if you wanted to combine your work and personal planner. It has spaces for expenses, and then at the top is one space for your monthly income, and then space for the entire year. And at the bottom, it has a row for you to total up those expenses, those incomes, and then those savings. After this, it goes into a monthly bill payment tracker. I create layouts like this from scratch in my bullet journal quite often, so I totally appreciate the level of detail that went into this. Things like checking off if it's auto pay or not, and then a space for every single month to check off that the bill has been paid. Turning to the next page, we have a yearly habit tracker. There are 12 lines along the side, and so you can pick one habit per month to focus on. And so if you want to read more in July, you can check off every single day in July that you read that day. And then if you wanted to do something different in August, like hitting 10,000 steps per day, you could check that off. And it's a really good way to hold yourself accountable every day for building good habits. And at the bottom, it just has some space for recurring monthly tasks and places for you to check off that they are done. So there are a lot of spreads at the front of this planner. I don't know how I feel about how many there are at the front. So now we're getting into the months part of the planner. Similar to the teacher planner, it has this dashboard at the front, but because this is the vision planner, it has you continuously check in with each of those categories that you talked about at the front of the planner, and then pick one goal to focus on for the month. So it has the quote dashboard, nice plastic tabs, and then it goes right into the calendar layout. Again, it has the weekends a different color. And then for this planner, it has like a reflection question at the top instead of a motivational quote. And then, of course, it still has those little spots for notes along the side. So this is what the weekly spreads look like in this planner. Obviously, this is a dated planner, so the dates are already written in for you. It has a vertical box for each day of the week, space for notes along the side, and then it has weekly habit tracking at the bottom left corner for 5 habits that you want to track through the week. And then it has this small dedicated box at the bottom for something else with some hydration trackers on the bottom. Because this is a dated planner, they're just going to give you the number of weeks that you need. So sometimes 4, sometimes 5, and then it goes right into the next month, which is going to be the same structure. So again, I will go through each month and kind of show you what the dashboard looks like, but again, each month is the same structure. So that was August, and here's September, and then I'll go through the rest. So that takes us to the last week of this planner, and then it goes into a monthly highlights page. I assume that you are not going to remember everything that happened throughout the year, so maybe you'd want to put a tab on this so that at the end of each month you could go back and fill it in or something. I'm not really sure. And then I like this spread with the important dates for next year. Again, you'd probably want to tab this off yourself so that you could refer back to it. And then again, this is the vision planner. So it's going to have you revisit those categories that you talked about at the beginning of this planner and every single month, and talk about lessons that you learned and how to improve and how you will remember this year. At the back of this planner is a folder pocket with some free functional stickers inside. I love the color palette of these. And then surprisingly, they give you this magnetic bookmark. I love that. It says today is a fresh start. I could totally see putting it on whatever week that you are working on currently, just so it's easy to access. I love that little detail. The paper in the Vision Planner is going to be that same 100 GSM bright white paper that was in the teacher lesson planner, so we already know how pens are going to behave on this planner. I think this Vision Planner is a great alternative for a teacher that doesn't necessarily want all the extra spreads that come with the traditional teacher planner, but there are some downsides like all those budget spreads and things like that. Full transparency, I do not use a spiral planner. I wish I did because these are gorgeous, but don't worry, I have some teacher friends that are already lined up to receive these beautiful planners, and I will check in with them how they like them throughout the year. If you're interested, I did hook us up with a link for 10% off your first purchase. If you decide to buy a teacher planner, please let me know how you love it, and I'll see you on the next one.